Right now at noon, a former Ben Davis custodian is filing a lawsuit claiming a coworker raped her. The details from this and what the custodian wants to happen. And as the Chicago Bears are in limbo of finding a new home, we're learning more about the poll from the 2 states to get or keep the team.
And we've got a sunny setup across central Indiana. We are watching some changes, though, as we head closer to the weekend. The return of heat and humidity, as well as storms, coming up in your forecast.
Thanks so much for joining us on 13 News at noon. I'm Anna Chalker, and we start this afternoon with news out of Logansport, where a 12-year-old boy is in critical condition after being shot in the head. This happened around 2:30 this morning along East Broadway and 14th Street in Logansport. Police say the boy was flown to a hospital with life-threatening injuries. No information yet on a possible suspect or motive, but once we learn more on that, we'll be sure to update you on air and online at WTHR.com. Right now in Indy, Metro Police are searching for this 16-year-old missing boy. They say Elijah Muhammad was last seen between 10:30 and 11 this morning on West 30th Street and Lafayette Road. He was wearing a black t-shirt, white shorts, and black Crocs. He's said to be a high-functioning autistic boy and may be confused and in need of medical attention. Elijah is about 5'3" with short black hair. If you see him, you are asked to call police. A former Ben Davis custodian at the high school is filing a lawsuit claiming she was raped by a coworker at the school. And this suit is against both the school and district for civil liability, negligent hiring, and supervision and retention. The woman says she was sexually assaulted multiple times by a coworker in 2024. She says she spoke to her head custodian after that first encounter, but due to a lack of evidence, she was told to leave it alone. But she says those assaults, they continued. In the lawsuit, the woman reports one account where she says 2 coworkers were in an SUV with her and one raped her, causing injuries and bleeding. During that assault, she says a gun was even pointed to her head and she was told to not do anything stupid and that no one would believe her. So now this woman says the assaults did not stop until she became pregnant with her attacker's child. That man was ultimately terminated in the fall of last year, and the woman is asking for a jury trial and judgment against both parties. You can read more of this filing right now on WTHR.com. And in the courtroom this afternoon, a man charged with killing a 65-year-old woman and then leading police on a chase before he was shot by officers today. And just moments ago, we learned that this woman was his ex-husband. Now Ronald Cross is facing multiple charges, including murder and resisting arrest. Cross was wounded after police say he pointed a gun at officers and then 3 fired shots back. Court documents say Patricia Weber had just gotten home when Cross knocked on her car and shot her. Cross's daughter tells us there is a past of domestic violence incidents between the two, and she feared this day would come. When we learn more from the courtroom, we'll be sure to update you on that. Now turning over to our forecast today, 12:03 on your Tuesday, meteorologist Lindsay Monroe joining us. To sum up today, it is beautiful.
We're like counting down the minutes.
Yes. Yeah, we're like, let's go.
We have to enjoy days like this because as we go through the summer, low humidity, sunshine, quiet, days like this do not come all that often. So let's talk about the setup here and why we have such nice weather now and how that's potentially going to change into this weekend. So live look over Carmel this afternoon with completely clear skies, low humidity. I mean, this is what we call weather perfection. Let's take you across central Indiana with our camera network all fired up and reporting plenty of sunshine, a light breeze for some of us. Others starting to see some gusts. Right now we've got a 24-mile-per-hour gust out of Muncie, 9 miles per hour over in Crawfordsville out of the east-northeast at 71 there and 75 down in Bloomington. So basically what we're watching with a northeasterly wind component, that is ushering in drier air. A big dome of high pressure also in control of our weather, and that's basically keeping any clouds from developing. High pressure signifies sinking air, and of course that drier air mass going to be in play for today. So we'll enjoy it while we've got it. Rest of your forecast today going to take our temperatures back up through the 70s, eventually forecasting a high around 78 here in the Indy Metro and keeping that sky clear as we go into the evening tonight. 76 in Shelbyville and 77 for our friends over in Greencastle. Heading into the evening tonight, again, clear skies as we await the sunset at 9:07. We will fall back to the 70s, but keep in mind, talked about that dry air. Our dew point's 43. Look just down to our south. A lot of moisture, a lot of humidity. That's all going to be headed in our direction as we head closer to the weekend. We'll talk about those changes coming up in your 7-day forecast.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. And Indigo bus riders, you'll want to listen up to this one because there's going to be some big changes on how you pay for your bus rides. Indigo is now asking riders to switch to a new fare system that'll come in September, and it's called My Key Plus. That means your current My Key cards, they will be phased out starting this summer. But don't worry, coming up at 12:30, we'll have an Indigo representative joining us to explain more about this new system and all of the changes with that. And more details now out of the City County Council surrounding a proposal that could cost drivers hundreds of dollars. Supporters say this is needed to unlock millions in state funding, but critics are arguing there's another way. So this is what's being proposed. The wheel tax would be a $240 fee and the excise tax a $100 flat fee. But you would only need to pay one or the other when you file or renew your registration. And if this is approved, this would help meet the threshold of receiving $50 million in matching funding from the state. Now, Mayor Joe Hogsett, he disagrees with this plan. He says his office has already come up with a plan to receive those dollars by 2027. And you have the choice to voice your opinion on this tax multiple times in the next coming weeks. The first time for that is next Tuesday at the Administration and Finance Committee hearing. The Chicago Bears could be one step closer to calling Indiana home. Illinois lawmakers ended a marathon legislative session without passing a bill to keep the team there in their state. Now, Jenna Webster shows us what the next steps may look like for the team.
The Chicago Bears want out of their longtime home at Soldier Field, debating new sites in Arlington Heights, Illinois, and Hammond, Indiana.
Some of the best, most memorable victories happen in double or triple overtime. That's what we're doing here tonight. I ask for your votes.
But Illinois lawmakers can't seem to agree on a way to keep them in their state.
Have all voted who is.
Around 3:30 Monday morning, state senators passed an amended bill, one the sponsor calls the, quote, exact same mechanics set up in Northwest Indiana. It would create local stadium authorities in Cook County that can own and finance pro sports stadiums, meaning the Bears escape paying property taxes on the stadium.
But it was very hastily crafted. It's a really late idea. And as we heard from the Speaker of the Illinois House this morning, they just felt like it came too late. They had not had time to review it.
The Illinois House adjourned for the session without taking a vote on the bill, leaving many wondering what's next for the Arlington Heights property the Bears bought 3 years ago. The Speaker of the House says discussions will continue this summer. He could call a special session to stick with the Bears' summer timeline.
The Speaker of the House told me earlier this morning that he doesn't foresee that happening. There are no plans for a special session. So I think right now, Illinois lawmakers are probably going to be holding their breath, hoping that the Bears do stay and want to consider Arlington Heights.
Meanwhile, the Indiana deal calls for $1 billion in public subsidies to build a publicly owned stadium in Hammond.
The failure to get a stadium deal done by the end of the spring session, it just signals what the Bears could avoid for the next 40 years in Indiana.
A sports economic development expert says even if Indiana isn't their new home, the state is sending the message it moves quickly with businesses to generate economic opportunities and get deals done. But for now, all eyes are on the Bears to make their final decision.
Now, if the Bears do choose to leave Illinois, the state expects the economy to dip $1.3 billion. That was the estimate that the team gave them when it was announced for a new stadium in Arlington Heights.